Usually when a player comes back from injury.
What happens, Adam, when they come back from injury?
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of break-in time.
Yeah.
They have to get adjusted to things a little bit. That is not the way Kayla McPherson
Not
does
how she lived her life.
When Kayla McPherson comes back from injury, Jones, what's it like?
100 miles an hour right down there. I love watching Kayla McPherson play.
And it's been
no fear.
It's been that way from game one this year after she came back, and now she's here in studio. Carolina women's basketball having a great season, headed to Greensboro later this week. Kayla, thanks so much for being with us.
Oh, thanks for having me. Very excited.
So we mentioned you had a long road back. Yes. Was it 800 days or something without playing?
808.
808 days.
Not that Kayla was counting or and scratching it off on the wall in her room. Not at all.
What was that process like, and how did you get to the point where you were able to come back and contribute immediately?
Long road. I mean, again, 808 days is a long time. 2 injuries, just some setbacks I had to go through, but I mean, I just stayed with it. And I mean, doing rehab, doing training at home in Georgia, and then also here when I got here, finally got me to Clemson, so I was ready to play.
I have to imagine that was not just difficult physically, but difficult mentally. Yeah. How did you work through all of that with it taking so long to get to your ultimate goal?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to like it being hard mentally, I try to look at the good things within the injury. So I've said this many times, but like I was able to see basketball in a different lens. I'm able to see like the X's and O's, the plays, how we're gonna play defense. But being injured, I was able to see angles. I was able to see how people move, and more of like a coaching perspective. So again, I just try to like see like the good things that I was able to take from that being injured and being out.
Jones mentioned this. It's so fun to watch you play because of there's no breaks. How would you describe what you're trying to bring to the Tar Heels? Because it feels like it's something that maybe they needed when you got
here. I mean, you guys can say I'm fast. I like to play fast. So I just like to push the ball up the court. I like to speed teams up, and my teammates are able to play fast as well. So again, I'm just trying to add a little more speed to the table. Okay,
so how do you toe that line of like going really fast but not being out of control? How do you try and find that balance?
As you can probably imagine, at a young age, I had no control of my speed, so I could just chicken
with. Look, that's my daily life.
Yeah. So I mean, just able to like work on my change of speed, change of direction. So I mean, I just had to really again just learn. It's not really much to it. I know how to cut it off. I know how to shut it on.
So okay, so you jump in. It seems like halfway through. How do you try to integrate yourself into the team at that point, a team that had a good level of success up until that point? How do you try to fit in and make things better compared to trying to show up and be like, all right, guys, now I'm here, and it messes things up?
Well, I mean, being here for 2 years, I was able to actually get practice time with them. So prior to the season in the summer, I was able to practice with them. They already knew how my speed was going to be integrated into the team. They already knew how I played. So to the outside world, it's kind of just like Kayla's just thrown into there. But we've actually practiced it. We've actually been able to work on it. So I mean, it was really no issue.
There's been a lot of pieces coming and going in the starting lineup here over the last month or so. What have you learned about the personnel having to play without some of it that you think will help you now that hopefully everybody's back ready to go for the postseason?
I mean, we're 12 deep, and all 12 of our players, they bring a different thing to the table. So as a point guard and as a guard, I try to just recognize those things. So like you said, so like Eva was out for a little bit. She's a shooter. So what can we replace with that? So we put Paulina. Paulina's a shooter. Paulina's a driver. So you're just really trying to know what they bring to the table and just trying to use their strengths.
All right, so you guys heading into the ACC tournament, and of course NCAA's after that. Coming off the big win in Cameron this past weekend, where do you feel like you guys are? And again, it's been adding pieces, taking pieces away. Where do you feel like this team is now heading into a very important part of the year?
I think we're in a really good place. I mean, just a couple of days ago, we had like a meeting just about like our culture, just about like who we are as a team. So this late into the season, we're just trying to focus on those things. We know we can play. We know we can beat these teams, but also we want to make sure that we are staying true to who we are and true to what this team is. So I mean, I think we're in a good place. We're all healthy. We're ready to get to work in Greensboro.
What's it like to walk out of Cameron Indoor Stadium with a win? And when you think about Sunday, like, what do you think about?
So that was my first like Duke Carolina game. I didn't get to play in our first matchup, but I mean, walking out of there, I just had a smile on my face. I mean, just to beat Duke in their gym is kind of like a big deal, and I've only heard about it, so actually being able to live through it and play through it was really exciting.
You said you guys talked about being true to who this team is. Who is this team? Who do you guys think you are?
We're a group of girls who love to play basketball. We love to play basketball, and we love each other. We're going to root each other on. We're going to be our biggest cheerleader, each other's biggest cheerleader, and each other's biggest competitor. So, I mean, having that culture has made us successful past years and this year so far. So, I mean, then again, we just want to have fun. We're here to have fun, but yeah.
There have been a couple, some great wins. There's also been some tough losses here these last couple of weeks. The game at State, the Virginia Tech game in Carmichael. How do you try and use those as positives, especially moving into a point of the year where every game is you're either continuing or you're not?
One thing I will say about that is Coach Bankard does a great job with like showing us film and showing us those things that may have went wrong in those games. Mm-hmm. And we're all coachable. I will say that. I feel like we're a very coachable team, and we just keep working. We see what's going on, we see what went wrong maybe, and we go fix it. And the next game we try to do better.
One thing that's been really consistent in the wins and the losses here lately has been the defense. What's working for this team defensively right now that's made you so tough to score on?
We're just active. We're a bunch of active human beings. And I would say a lot of us are fast. So I mean, we just want to make teams think too much almost. So I mean, again, we're gonna move. We're gonna make them have to go into their second option, third option, fourth option.
Coach Banghart always uses the word connected, and I always hear y'all saying we're a very connected team. How does she create that environment where you do seem so connected, and how much of it is finding the right people to plug into that environment?
Yeah, I mean, something she's also said about that is like, all we have is us. We're all we have. In those 12, in those 6 or so staff members we have in our locker room, that's all we have. So I really feel like knowing that and knowing that we can trust each other and that we have each other's backs is what makes us connected.
What's Kayla McPherson's deal away from basketball? What do you like to do? What's your interest? When you're not involved in the game?
It's a hard question.
Because you're all in.
I'm all in. That's a very hard question, but honestly, I like chilling out. I really don't do much. I like watching TV. I like eating food. I love food. So I drive all around North Carolina trying to find new food places and stuff like that.
What's your go-to? Like if you have a day and you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna go all in today. Like what's the Kayla McPherson go-to?
So it's a place in Durham. I know it's in the enemy territory, but it's called Tequila La something. It's something. I don't want to butcher it.
Look, you don't have to pronounce it. You just gotta.
Yeah,
that's right.
But they have the best burritos. Like I swear I've ever had. It's great. It's really good. You guys should try it.
A burrito fan and fast on the court.
Yeah.
That's the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
Unusual combination.
Unusual. Yeah.
Okay, Tar Heels heading to the ACC Tournament. Play for them starts on Thursday this week. They're still waiting to see who their opponent's going to be. Tar Heels the 7th seed in what is a very loaded ACC women's basketball year. And then, of course, heading to the NCAAs after that. Somebody that we're excited you're going to see on the court a bunch is Kayla McPherson. Kayla, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, guys.